Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday, and I'm here with two of my favorite psychics, Sherry from Voices from the Swamp and Cleo the Seer. And tonight we are going to play my favorite game, PoliTarology. So,
Our favorite game.
yeah. So, everybody in the chat and everybody watching at home, sit back and relax. Oh, however, don't relax totally. Put your questions in the chat because we don't have very many tonight. And
In all caps, please, so I don't miss them.
yes, in all caps, please, so we don't miss them. And with that, I'm going to let everybody say hello and greet you. Hello, Sherry. How are you?
Hi, Colleen. I'm doing okay. Doing much, much better. And
Good,
still
good.
a little bit of the congestion, but nothing that's not normal for me. And I've been enjoying the little bit warmer weather we've been having up in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. So that's been nice. And just kind of taking it easy, trying to get some stuff done for my channel behind the scenes, and just had like a major coronary when I had to renew my StreamYard yesterday. It was like $400. Are you crazy?
No.
And that's for the lowest level. I mean, it's, man, they're like killing us. Just nuts.
Well, that's what a super chat is for. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Cleo, how are you? Tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing really good. I mean, this is the we're in the first week of March. I know that March is going to have some crazy things happening, and I hope that we get to answer some of the questions, or at least talk about some of the things that are going on, or that that we feel are going on. And also, for anybody that's watching this, if you could please go to my channel and subscribe if you haven't already done that, and like everything. And I guess do the same thing for Colleen and for Sherry.
Yes,
Yes, please. That would be nice. But especially for Cleo, let's get her numbers up.
Yeah. And I'm going to be on Cleo's channel on March 19th. And if you're subscribed, you'll get the notification. So please, please, please do that subscription. That would be great. Okay, so what's going on with me? Well, here I am doing PoliTarology, and next week we'll be here at the same place on Friday doing the Cool Crone Oracle. But I am also going to be on Mystic 4 on next Monday with my sister.
Yay.
And next week, we also, on Wednesday the 12th, we have a Reveal the Future. And we're going to be talking about on that show visualizations for recovery for our country and for us. Because we all know that this is coming to a head and that there's going to be some resolution. And it may take a while for that resolution to affect most of everything. But we want to visualize how will we recover? What will it be like as we recover and really feel this ease up? So be sure you tune in for that. Okay. So let's see what we got. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, well, actually, I'm going to flip these. I'm going to take my number 2 question first. I'm looking at Dumpy, and he does not seem okay. He seems like a different person from what we saw in the campaign. This guy is very low energy. His hair doesn't always look good. His makeup has looked horrible for a while. So
I don't know if he's still doing it himself or not, but it's like not blending. He used to be really good at blending it all in and it looking as natural as being orange can look, but now it's like you can see where it just like he just stuck his face in it and came up and okay, I'm good.
Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe somebody just got him a face-shaped bowl and he just dips his face. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, he's not okay. He is
well,
not.
You guys say that he's looking terrible. I think he's been not looking too well. However, I think day before yesterday, or maybe it was yesterday, I looked at him and I thought, well, somebody did his hair. Somebody did his makeup. Just for that one thing, he looked a lot better. But as far as health-wise, I do think that I think this stuff's wearing on him, and I think he can't quite figure out. I mean, he's saying stuff like, did he call Zelensky a dictator? He couldn't make up his mind that he did that. And it was, it's obvious that he did do that. Now, I don't know if he was just trying to be a smart aleck or if he really didn't remember. But he has been doing so many strange things that, one day he's saying, okay, here, this is the beginning of the tariffs. And then the next day is, well, you know what the hell? I'll wait till next month. And as far as the stuff that's covered in the trade agreement that he created back when he was president before. So, I mean, I don't think he's having a hard time keeping track of things.
So much of his behavior and the way he's responding and doing things reminds me of my mom, who had dementia. About 5 years into it strongly, when the Swiss cheese brain was really getting bad, and she would go in and out and just off the wall crap. And I watch him and I see my mother, and it's like, this is scary because I know it's just going to get worse. I don't know if he has dementia. I'm not a doctor. I can't say that. I'm just supposing, but something is not firing on all thrusters up in that brain of his. I mean, not that it ever has, but
he got the traits of dementia. He definitely has the traits. Now, it might be something else. It might just be old age, but he has a lot of traits.
Or another form of Alzheimer's. I mean, there are several. Dementia is just one of them.
That's true. There's a bunch of them.
But he doesn't. His color is off. He just doesn't look right. Yeah, well, I mean, compared to how he used to always look. I mean, there was a time when he would not get out in front of a camera unless he looked picture perfect. And now it's like he schleps out there and he looks like he's been on a all-nighter all night, and just dragging in. And I don't know, it's concerning. It really is concerning.
Well, I threw some cards on it, and I feel I have said for a long time, he's kind of like a really dark, really awful King Lear. Like he is coming towards the end of his cycle as king. So it's ironic that, he finally declares himself king on the fake cover of Time magazine. And then a couple of weeks later, he's about ready to step off the edge of a cliff. But what I get for him is the nine of wands, and that, he's defending. And now he's got, Melon Muskball, who is, out there doing all his dog tricks, in front of everybody. And he seems to be supporting it, but I feel like it's killing him to support it. It is just killing him to admit that this man who is almost 40 years younger than him is just waltzing in, didn't have to do a campaign, didn't have to do anything, but because he was rich enough, he just walked into everything that he wanted. And I think it kills him. The thing that crosses here is the Magician. So that used to be him, but when the Magician is crossing, as Lori says on Way of Positive Change, it's weaker. It's not as strong as it usually is, and that's him. He's King Lear. He's not as strong. At the base, he's got the Wheel of Fortune, so things are going upside down for him. In the past, we got the Fool. You think? God, he has made so many foolish decisions. On the top is the King of Pentacles. That's no longer him. That's Melon Muskball. He's the one. But what is in front of him is some kind of a event, a stroke, an aneurysm, something, a mental breakdown, a psychotic break, a real horrible event that is going to affect probably his brain, is what I'm getting. And he does not, he still fears the legal ramifications of what's going on. We see that he's made a deal with Russia. He made a deal with Russia almost 50 years ago. So 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 45 years ago.
Like that, yeah.
He made that deal with Russia. I was living in New York around that time. Hell yeah, we all knew that he was in bed with Russia. I think there were articles in the newspaper at the time about that. And he is still just waiting for his ship to come in with Mr. Putin. I mean, the guy is really, really, God, talk about a dog with a bone. He for somebody who's so erratic and so impulsive, it's odd to see how much he clings to this thing with Putin. It's like he's his hero or something. It's crazy. But look at this. Look at the final outcome. Dun, 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 dun. Kamala.
Oh, wow.
Kamala.
Well, and did you see where Kamala said, as far, everybody's looking at her to be the governor of California.
Yeah,
And
right.
she said that she'll let everybody know at the end of the summer. And I thought the timing on that was interesting to me, that she would say end of summer, because that's where we see between now and then a whole bunch of things going on. So maybe she's got some kind of clue that, well, I'm pretty sure she does, that something's going on. Maybe not sure how it's going to end up, but yeah. And I'm sorry, the yard guy just showed up and he's got his little blower going. So
I don't hear it.
You don't hear it?
No.
Oh, good. Because
I don't hear
went
it
right
either.
by the window. And
If we do, we'll let you know. I
Yeah.
drew just a few cards. Oh, I'm sorry, Kilo. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
First thing I pulled was the Three of Cups reversed. So all that joy he thought he had is just spilling out on the ground. It's not going anywhere. And then I pulled the Queen of Cups reversed. So that's a lot of insecurity that we're looking at here. Not just with him, but I'm seeing insecurity starting to roll off at Musk as well. He seems to be very kind of unsure in some of his answers because he's getting asked questions now that are very refined and to the point. I actually listened to an interview that someone did with that Tucker Carlson did with him like 2 years ago. For 40 minutes, I sat there and watched that freaking interview. The man never answered a question. He talked nonstop and talked circles, but never answered a question. Not once. I had a headache by the time it was over with. And then the last card I drew was the Five of Pentacles. It's not looking good. It really is not looking good. I'm seriously worried about, I'm worried about him in the context of what's he going to drag us down as he goes down.
Well,
How
no,
bad
that's
is it going to
exactly
be?
what he is doing. He is dragging the whole country down. He will be the first president ever to just, if he, depending on how long he gets to stay in there, that it'll totally bankrupt the country. He'll totally ruin our economy. Inflation will go through the roof. This made up thing about having to have these huge tariffs on Canada and Mexico and China, I guess. I mean, China, he seems to be gives them a little bit of a break, but but this coming and going and people trying to you can't get prepared for him. Like all these federal workers that got fired, they said, oh no, never mind, come back. So they come back and all of a sudden they say, oh sorry, that we closed that department down. I mean, this is so bizarre of what he is trying to pull, and that
one department locked the doors and wouldn't let the little Doge boys in. They showed up to come shut everything down and fire everybody. They barricaded the doors and said, nope, I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. So,
but that was only one of the departments. All the rest of them.
and a small one that ran on a budget of like $40 million a year. That's chicken change, chump change for most of these and they're looking to fire 80,000 more VA workers.
Yes,
this Veterans Affairs.
This is a golden recipe for putting your country into a severe depression.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing. He's just causing and then the rest of the world will go into it. Well, you know what? The rest of the world may not go into a depression because they're pulling away from us as trade partners. I've been watching so many videos talking about. I mean, I got to pull up this document. It's just crazy, the stuff that I found. Who is leading Europe for peace? Well, Poland's leader is making noises to push the EU and NATO towards their own strategy against Russia. That was 4 days ago, so that's old news. And at the same time, Poland has like quintupled their military strength. They bought all these tanks and jet fighters, and they've been training up people. They have probably close to the biggest army or military force in Europe, aside from Hungary, if you consider Hungary Europe, and
You've got Norway and Sweden that have been up in their military and getting their military combat ready.
And then Finland's leader has been making speeches. He thought he was going to be the head of the EU or something. And he was challenging Europe to think in a new way. He was one of the first ones who came out and said, we can't rely on the United States. We have to do this ourselves. And then right after that, Poland's guy said it. And then right after that, after the election in Germany, Friedrich Merz also said it. But Friedrich Merz is a Scorpio. So I think he's the new King of Cups. And I think that he is the one who is really emerging as the strongest voice in the EU and for NATO, because they're also a NATO country, to push against Putin. And I keep saying, how can Putin possibly attack and invade Europe? He has nothing. They have no food. They have no tanks for their soldiers. They don't even have jeeps for their soldiers.
They're using donkeys and jackasses to haul their supplies. Exactly. I mean,
but did you hear this one? That Hungary, Orban made an announcement that Hungary is standing at the ready to put 300,000 troops in Ukraine as peacekeeping forces. He's not asking for anybody else to do it. That's what the UK is saying. Well, we want, a guarantee that the US will back us up. That ship has sailed, sunshine.
Yeah.
US isn't doing that because you got DJT at the head. But Hungary does have the largest army or military force in
and they're not playing over there.
And he's saying, no, let's do it. Now, Putin was like, say what? Wait, you're one of my guys. Why are you saying this? So this is a very interesting development that Hungary is standing up and doing this. And they are not working with Putin. They are not on this.
Yeah.
Orban is also one of these authoritarian dictator types. And yet he's saying, I don't want Putin to take over Ukraine, because he doesn't want Putin to take over Hungary either. So I think that's that. But I was going to throw in, maybe you guys want to throw on or read on this too. What is going to be happening in the month of March? I saw in the comments that somebody was saying, now, are you predicting that he's going to be out of office in March? That's what other people are saying. I'm not.
No, that's not what I've been saying. But
exactly.
I've been telling everybody that there's a lot of stuff happening in March. And, I know other people have talked about the Ides of March, and I've heard the same thing from my guides. No, it's not the end of Trump in March. It's the beginning of the end.
Yes.
You'll start to see things where you're like, oh, okay. And it's already happening. It's already happening.
That's right. The breadcrumbs are forming a small biscuit at this point. There's a lot of breadcrumbs. There's a lot of things that have come out. If you go back through the news, just do a Google search week by week of U.S. or just on, U.S. political headlines week by week since really January 1st. You will see a progression of items that have come out, things that have been revealed. That Trump story about the Krasnov, that was a big breadcrumb. That was a big, big, big one. And, that kind of like just made the scales fall from the eyes, because then everybody just started saying, well, yeah, of course he is. Of course he's a Russian asset. Of course. Wait, nobody ever said that. And also Trump started saying things out loud. He started saying the quiet part out loud. And that's when they had the meeting in Riyadh and then the meeting in France, where people just started saying, yeah, they're in line with Russia.
Yeah, he's a traitor. I mean, they're starting to figure out that Trump is the traitor, and that he's not going to help these other countries. And he just as soon let Putin go ahead, whatever you want to take, just so we end the war. It's just BS of what he's doing. By the way, can I answer a question real quick? And then
I'll do this reading thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Helen H. asked at the very beginning, before we even got the show going, can the guides for two different readers give entirely different answers to the same question. Well, the guides themselves, everybody's got their own guides, and and my guides, maybe Colleen has my guides too, or maybe Sherry does. But when you get an answer from your guides, it depends on the energy of the day, of that, not the day, that moment. So energy fluctuates, and you'll find that there's probably dozens of different responses to the same question. So, the guides aren't saying, everybody's got to say this when this question is asked. But yes, I told her, I said, the short answer is yes, that they will get different responses to the very same question. So I just wanted to answer that for Helen, and that's rarely. I don't think we we get little bits and pieces of the same thing, but to actually get the same answer, probably not. It's that the guides are just that. They're guides. They're guiding you towards the right answer.
Right. Well said. Well said. I agree 100%. All right. So I threw out some cards about what was going to happen in March, because we've got two eclipses, one on the 14th, one on the 29th. The one on the 14th hits Trump's chart like a Mack fucking truck. It hits him right between the eyes. So that's not bueno for him. And the 29th also has some things. I did a video about it. It also has some things going on. I haven't done a video about the one on the 29th, but I did do a video about him, Zelensky, and Putin with these eclipses, because all three of them get somewhat...
Well, isn't the 14th also a full lunar eclipse right there? I thought I read somebody was going to be like a full blood moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were printing it in the local radio station newsletter when we can see it here in my city. Oh, we're going to get like full bore. We're going to see the eclipse.
Yeah.
At like 1:30 in the morning or some shit.
It's a blood moon. It's a blood moon, and it is on March 14th. On the East Coast, it's going to be at 7 in the morning that you can start to see it. And yes, it's a total lunar eclipse. And the one on the 29th is a partial solar eclipse. And that's for a new moon on the 29th. And that's when you get the solar eclipses. And that one's going to be in Aries. The lunar eclipse is in Virgo. And it's one of the first ones on the Virgo Pisces axis. And the solar eclipse in Aries, I believe, is the last one on the Aries Libra axis. So both of these eclipses will have a lot to do with endings. Endings.
That matches my cards.
Right. And so, yeah, go watch my video I did on Trump, Zelensky, and Putin. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'll pop in here and see what it is. But what I wanted to talk about, just really quick, I'll go over the cards that I threw about the month of March. And it starts out with seemingly lots of things coming out like they are now, but just keeps going. We just keep getting this fire hose of lots and lots of different information going on. And more, we will be looking towards foreign countries, Europe mainly, and NATO, not just the ICC, but the EU, which is another organization of European countries, along with Canada and the UK, to help us, to give us some guidance, some idea of what we can do. But I do think that there's
escape route.
Yeah, there is some stuff gearing up in this country that's going to really take care of things. But we will get support from them, because they keep coming up in all of the readings, and a lot of things are going to be revealed in March, not just on the headlines, but things will be revealed about the coup, about the stolen election. Boy, I hope I don't get taken off from YouTube for this, but a lot of things are going to be revealed. For
entertainment purposes only.
Thank you, Sherry. And up until the month of March, most Americans have felt like we're just on our own. I mean, the people who are getting laid off or unemployed, the people who are finding that services are no longer available for them, they're just feeling very isolated and afraid. And I don't blame them. I mean, I kind of feel that myself. At the top of this, of course, is Mr. Musk. He's now the King of Pentacles. So he really should be the King of Cups because he's a double Cancer. But we see here that also this King of Pentacles could also be one of the European leaders that steps in and tries to start helping. It could be someone else in our government who's a earth sign, although there's not very many earth signs. There is a Virgo somewhere, and I can't think of who it is, but there's a Virgo somewhere who's very, very helpful. But what comes up in the future for us, so probably between the eclipses, basically from March 14th to the 29th, is there will be fighting that goes unresolved. It's the Five of Wands reversed. Fighting that cannot be resolved. This may be fighting amongst ourselves. This may be us fighting against our so-called government and the current so-called administration. But there are skirmishes and conflicts and upset that can't get resolved. Well, the eclipses are going to resolve them, because the eclipse will come in, and if you're sensitive to the degrees of the eclipse, this lunar eclipse, this first one, is going to be endings, right? So if you have a chart that is sensitive to the degrees of the eclipse, an ending will occur either a month before, a week before, maybe right around the days right around the eclipse, or it might be sometime after, again, depending on how planets hit your chart and come back and hit that degree. So you kind of need an astrologer if you want to predict it, or you could just pay attention to the energy. And if you're feeling like there's something big that you really need to let go of in your life, then let go of it, because you know what'll happen if you don't. The universe will take care of it for you, and usually not in a way that you would like. So just saying, just if you're feeling that impulse that something needs to go, let it go. If you've been feeling like you need to sell that car, sell that car. Because if you don't, you're going to be broke down on the side of the road, and it won't run anymore, and you won't be able to sell it. You'll just have to have it towed for scrap. Like that's kind of thing that might be happening. What we're afraid of is the guru, which in this instance, I think, is listening to the orange one. Because that he's lost it. He's in love. The last time I heard on like Midas Touch was doing some clips of an interview of him, and I had kind of seen pieces of that interview, but the pieces that they highlighted, I was like, this guy is literally making it up as he goes along, because that's what he's always done. But he's lost his strength. He's lost his oomph. His chi is literally draining out of his feet. He's just not. He's not the king that he thought he was anymore. He was that king for maybe 10 minutes back in 2017 or something, but he is not that powerful anymore. And the only reason that we should be afraid of him is his connections with Putin, because Putin is still somehow powerful, although I'm not even convinced Putin's still alive. I think there's somebody else running things in the USSR. Call me crazy, but I mean, if you know how many body doubles this man has, I don't think we've really seen his face since year 2000. So I think not
his real face anyway.
Not his real face. So what their karma is and what's going on with this is that this is interesting. The world reversed. So there is an ending coming in March, but not completely. So as Cleo was saying, there is a beginning to an ending. So I'm hoping this means a containment of the orange one. Somehow he is contained. And if he is contained, then I think that there are other, his circle around him will be contained or arrested or, deported, and somehow they will be contained. And that will be the beginning of, no longer having, 14 executive orders every day and 80,000 people fired every day and all the other nonsense that we've been seeing all since January 20th. The hopes for our country is that there will be some sort of an arrangement, an agreement of something that will help us. That is what we're hoping for. And the problem is, by the very, very end of March, the end result, a lot of people will still be very disillusioned. People will still have a tendency to think, oh, well, that was a big nothing burger, but it isn't. It has to go this way. You can't just flip a light switch and have everything go back to the way it was last October 2024. You're just not going to get that. It just isn't going to happen. So please, please try to see clearly that Try to be adults, you know. When something really bad happens in your life, you can't just reverse it, but you can go forward. You can move forward from it. And that's what we're all going to have to do. We,
Right.
as a country.
Rose Blue over here put in a good comment. She says, 45 violated international law. He breached trade contracts with the tariffs by doing the tariff things. Well, you know, that's not just us looking at this. The whole world is watching what he's doing.
Yep.
And they know that he is acting like a dictator. They know that he's not going through the normal channels, which is Congress. That he's just doing whatever he pleases, whenever he pleases. And then he's got all his little worker bees like Musk saying, I'll just have Musk do it. And then if Musk screws up, I'll be like, okay, so Musk made a little bit of mistake. Every time he does that, he also turns right around and says, but I'm going to allow him to do this and this and this. And so, you know, if that's the case about if he violated international law, which everybody here is thinking that he did.
He has several times, yeah.
So at some point, somebody is going to say he needs to answer for this. But this, or at least I've always said, that a lot of the things that come down on him comes from outside the country, because for some reason, the Democrats can't seem to get it together enough to say, look, we've got to talk to we've got to talk to him. He's got to be detained and questioned, you know, but they're not doing that. So we have to wait for somebody to come from the outside to say, don't worry about it, we're coming.
Well, I'll tell you why I think they're not doing anything. I think that, you know how we talked about, you know, why aren't the Republicans doing anything all through 22, 23, 24, you know, to stop Trump in his tracks. How can he run for president? How can he do this? How can he do that? And they didn't really voice things too vehemently because they were being threatened. Remember what Mitt Romney said, you know, he's rich. He can afford the bodyguards and the security, but a lot of these other guys can't. Well, why do they need that? Because they're being threatened. And I think the Democrats are also being threatened. I think all of Congress is being threatened because DJT cannot have a functioning Congress and be a dictator. He can't. He can't.
Right.
It's right out of the playbook that you have to.
That's what makes him the dictator. It's interesting that you put it in that kind of context, because by overriding the Congress and by just not paying attention, now he does act like when a judge comes up with something that he'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, so we'll do it just a different way. On the other hand, when he doesn't like what the judge does, and if he has anything to say about it, he tries to get that person out of there. And so, you know, all the other Democrats and Republicans are seeing that. So now we're living under the fear of our leader of the free world. You know, we're afraid of him.
And what he could possibly call into happening at the drop of a hat, because he gets his knickers in a twist, you know? I mean, there are now enough of his sycophants in positions of power that if he says, I want the army to go to this city and just take care of them, get rid of them, whatever, there's enough people now that will do that. Not to mention his personal people, his brown shirts that he's got. I know we started out on March, and first thing I pulled was the Knight of Cups, you know, which is kind of this, yeah, something's coming, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. It's a very false picture in that respect.
Yeah.
Because this knight is also surrounded by a lot of black. And then the Two of Pentacles, people are going to have to make some choices. Mm-hmm. And I think it's mostly going to be his people are going to have to make some choices. And by the time the end of March gets here, I got the Tower. So whatever happens, it's going to be major. And it's going to kind of slap everybody upside the face. Now, I originally was seeing and predicting more of something happening starting the beginning of summer, like into May, going into June, that kind of thing. But it a lot of people are seeing March and April, so it.
Yeah, I've
I
always
think
been-
it's going to last a long time. I think it's going to last a long time. I think March is the biggest shakeup, and April is some continuation of that, and maybe slightly calmer. But it's a big shakeup, and don't forget, some of these things may be happening and contained by the military, and we may not see exactly what they're doing because
I
the
just wanted
military.
to say that. Now,
Yeah.
Rose Blue said, "Do you see the military clearing out the White House?"
Yes, I do.
I definitely do.
I absolutely. I saw 2 years ago. I saw
Yeah,
not only the
we've
White
always
House.
said it's the military that's gonna, because there's nobody left in there. If Biden was still around and he could do something,
Or in Congress,
yeah, I mean,
they're
it's
going to arrest a whole. The military is going to gather up a whole bunch of people. They're going to, what did you just say? Evacuate the White House. Basically, it's gonna be big. But does that all happen all on one day, all at one time? No, it doesn't. It happens the way the military wants it to happen.
Yeah,
So
and you got to remember, Trump, as much as he tries to act like, yay, the military, he totally disrespects the military. He doesn't think, and he thinks that he is, he's the head of that. What do they call him? Because technically the president is the head of the military, but this
Commander in Chief.
Commander in Chief. Thank you, Sherry. That's what I'm trying to think of. So, he is the commander in chief. So he thinks that he's got full control of them. He does not. Now, there's no way in hell that the military is going to allow this country to be taken over by somebody like Trump as a dictator, when in fact, how many millions of people have died for our freedom and to keep democracy the way it is? And it's all the military people. They're not going to let those people die in vain over the many years of wars and things that they've had to do. No, they will be the one. And I think that's who I'm not quite sure about this, but I just also this last week, not when I was on here, but I was just wandering around the house talking to my guides about this stuff. And they kept talking to me again about Jack Smith. And I'm like, well, we're not even hearing about Jack Smith because he's over in The Hague or he's over somewhere doing something else. And they're going, no, he's the one that really knows what is going on. He knows what he might want to end up doing with the military. He knows what's going on in the other countries because apparently people are reporting to him. And who would they report to? I mean, they can't report to Trump because he's the criminal.
Joseph Robinette Biden.
Oh, and they can't go through that. But in the end, it's got to go to somebody that can do something about it. And the person that knows the most about the corruption of Trump and the things that he has done is Jack Smith.
That's true. That's true.
I think it was on Legal AF, with Popak.
Mhm.
Somebody had asked the question about, well, talking about Trump, if he decides to not obey an order that the court gives him, what are they going to do?
Exactly.
And he said, that's part of why we have the U.S. Marshals. Their job is to go in and arrest whoever it is.
But the U.S. Marshals report to the DOJ. That's the only agency they report to.
But they're
almost
arrest
in every state.
In all the other, they can arrest in any of the.
They could, but
I'm just saying that's what they were talking about on the show. So
they're very cute. They're very optimistic that that's going to happen. This is going to have to come down to military. It's got to be military because the military. Joe Biden gave a speech to the military at the end before he finally left, and he hammered it home. Don't forget the Constitution, guys. That is who you serve. He said it in a million ways
Yeah.
in his speech. That's what he really wanted
Yeah.
to. Yeah, and I mean,
I
Well,
just
and
threw
also-
more cards on it real quick just because I just wanted to see what would come up. No particular question in no particular way, but the first thing I got was a judgment card. So this is coming, followed with the Ace of Swords.
Mhm.
So this judgment is coming with force,
yes.
followed with the Moon. So it's going to be uncovering a lot of things that have been hidden,
Mhm.
followed by Death, which is right there. Then the High Priestess, and then the Lovers.
Oh my God, like 18 major arcana in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like tripping out over here. That's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 cards. 5 of them were major arcana.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely March is a pivotal month, but April will be big, May will be big, June,
Yeah.
July, and finally in August we might be seeing the light at the end of a tunnel, but it's not going to be resolved overnight. I mean, what is that? March, April, May, June, July, August, that's 6 months. I mean, that's
No,
taking
and guys,
a long
we got
time.
hurricane season getting ready to start up.
Yeah, like, and then
And I've already been doing some readings from people that have messaged me and asked, can you read on this? Can you read on that on hurricane season? And it doesn't look good for
no,
this year.
how the hell are we going to handle people in natural disasters with this buffoon in the White House? How the hell they just didn't they dismantle FEMA?
Yeah.
So how the hell? I mean, are we just going to let people die?
They dismantled almost every federal agency
Yeah,
that would help us in all these different, it has for years, you know, NOAA, FEMA, the ones that protect the forest, the ones that protect the water,
Yeah,
the ones that
yeah.
protect the air.
And now they're in the process of selling off the buildings where their national headquarters are at.
What was that about?
Oh
Yeah,
my God! Oh
and
my
he
God!
wants to sell the forest. He
That's
wants to
crazy.
sell the-
Okay, you guys, I looked up at 20 minutes and thought, oh, good, we have plenty of time to do all this stuff. And now it's another 20 minutes just went like that. But I want to read on, there's 2 people that I want to read on. I want to read on Rubio and I want to read on Musk. And what I want to know about Musk is he going to have some sort of big legal brouhaha? And is he going to have some kind of health crisis because of all that ketamine he's doing?
Okay, Musk, and what are you concerned about with Rubio?
We'll do Rubio separately.
Okay.
So first we want to see what's the legal situation on Elon, or Elonia, as I like to call him.
Well, you know, one thing I've said about Musk is he will be Trump's Achilles heel. He will be the one that actually inadvertently brings down Trump. And the only thing is I'm seeing where Trump just brings himself down by the things that he said about Zelensky and the big thing in the Oval Office with the big press conference and stuff. That was just horrible. Well, as for some reason, a lot of mega people are looking around like, yeah, you know, he should have seen, he did the right thing. He absolutely did the wrong thing. And the rest of the world knows it. And they are watching that very, very closely. They know that Trump has turned the corner. They know that Trump is on the side of Russia.
Oh yeah, he has been.
So as far as Musk is the Russian connection.
No. Elon Musk wasn't even was only 10 years old when Trump got affiliated with Russia.
Well, no, I'm not talking about in that sense. I'm talking about he is the go-between between Putin and Trump right now, and has been for
Years.
No,
for years.
no, not for years. Musk is fairly new to this party. Trump has been connected with Putin for a very long time. His kids were saying before he even ran for president, oh, we don't need American banks. We've got all the Russian money we want. They have been connected to Russia since the 80s.
The 80s, yeah.
The 80s or the 90s. But Musk has a whole different connection with Putin. And
Well,
that's something else that I want to explore late, not on tonight's show, I don't think, but his relationship has really changed with Vance and Teal. It's a whole different animal than it used to be. And I want to look at that. But for Elon, what we want to look at right here is the legal situation that he's in, or will there be a legal situation? Will he be taken back?
Connection is with what he can provide to different countries, which is the satellites and the Starlinks and whatever all that
And the money.
and the money.
Yeah.
Well, this whole thing is all about money. I mean,
Oh yeah, I see Liza Minnelli in my head saying money makes the world go round.
Yeah, right.
You know,
So
I started out with
Go
two
ahead.
swords.
Oh God,
That's the first card I got on him.
I did too. Go ahead.
Oh wow, it's followed by the Five of Pentacles.
I didn't get that one. Okay, go ahead.
And then we got the Two of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sharing some wine in a the picture I keep getting in my head is Musk and somebody else, and I can't see who the other person is, like sitting at a table and drinking wine together as they make these decisions. So it's like he's getting his walking orders. You're going to do this next. You're going to do this next. You're going to do this next. But I don't know if it's Pootie or if it's somebody else, because I can't see who the other person is. But then I had the King of Wands show up. And so that is going to be somebody that's up there. That's a big power player. So I mean, maybe it is Putin. I don't know, but I just don't feel like that's who it's going to be. And then I got the Nine of Swords. So Musk is losing sleep over all of this. He, and between that and the drugs, I very easily could see him spiraling down fast and ending with the Queen of Swords. And there's our Kamala.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. What do you get, Cleo?
well, when we're talking about Musk, I was trying to find what somebody wrote here. Oh, there it is. They said that France launched their spy satellite the same day as Musk's rocket blew up. Now, this is the second rocket that he's had blow up that is just,
Je m'excuse, Elon.
it's spectacular that these things are happening, but how can he afford doing that over and over again? I mean,
Because he's the richest man in the world.
Well, I mean,
and because he's very sloppy.
even the richest man in the world could actually, believe it or not, run out of money. And when you're throwing this stuff into the air with billions of dollars, and I mean, just billions and billions of dollars to do this, and then they would blow up, doesn't really look too good for him.
But he's high on ketamine all the time. He's not in reality.
Well, he seems to be able to put rockets together and have them go in the air and blow up.
He has people doing
and he's
that.
having trouble with his cars, and people are, they're getting rid of their Teslas, and
I'm hearing you can't give them away. Nobody wants to buy them.
Yeah,
He's having problems. Well, okay. So my cards start out with the Queen of Wands crossed by the Ten of Swords. So basically, I think that Elon has his ear close enough to Pootie's butt that he hears everything that's going on. And right now, I think what he knows is that there is something going on in the United States government that is going to pull him down legally. And he's got lawsuits all over the world against him right now. So this is no bueno for the King of Pentacles. And, up until just recently, he was kind of snoozing the whole thing. He was just in denial, just didn't think about it at all. And he just thought, all of these other governments, I can handle them. I can just buy them. Well, not so fast, sunshine. It's just not going to happen like that. So what's in his future? The Emperor. This is Putin. It's not Trump. It's Putin. And this is him saying, running to Putin and saying, can you help me with my problems? And I don't think that he can. I think the first thing that's going to happen to him is they're going to, what do they call it? When they take your assets, they're going to claim his Starlink assets. They're going to claim, that's the very first thing that's going to happen to him, is somebody's going to just grab that. And, he's going to raise a ruckus and say that that's awful and you can't do that to me. But you know what? They're going to work fast and furious to make it so. Once this ball starts rolling with the legal stuff, because part of what I think has been difficult for them, anybody, the people in the other parts of the world who are trying to sue him, our government, and people within this country who are trying to sue him, is that no amount of monetary damages would be enough, right? So they have to threaten him with something else.
Yeah.
And that something else would be real jail time, deportation, taking his assets,
that's what's gonna hurt.
stripping him of those things. Those are the only things that are really meaningful to him. Because let's face it, you could say, we're going to line up your 14 kids and execute them, and he wouldn't give a shit. He'd say,
No.
I'm just going to make more. You know what I mean? And even with money, it's just like, oh, I'm just going to make more. He doesn't care. But the final outcome for him is the Ace of Cups. So this is a very, very emotional situation for him when they start taking away Starlink and threatening him with prison and taking away all of his other assets, like his Tesla plant and things like that. They're going to start taking stuff away from him in these legal battles. So I don't think it's going to be very bueno for him. And I do think the month of March is going to be critical for him, and April.
Well, and Canada has said that they're not going to do business with Trump.
Oh, one of the provinces already canceled their Starlight contract with him.
Yep. That's what.
And it was worth billions.
The only country that's going to do that. I think other countries are going to do that.
Maybe they already have. And then his health, I don't know. I got to shuffle on that. I'm going to mute myself while I shuffle. You guys chat amongst yourselves. I'm shuffling on his health because of his drug use. That's what I'm.
Okay. But I just, I think Musk has just gotten away with murder, and by buying the presidency for Trump. But it's because, it's more transparent now, and more people are looking at it going, God, that is really what happened. He just went ahead and bought the election for Trump. But again, now we get back into the election interference. There's another debate about, is that going to come up? There's so many different things that might be coming up, not just, that's not.
I think there's more and more evidence on the election interference that's coming to light because they've had forensic computer specialists that have been going through the machines and everything. I mean, these are people that know and understand computers and what's on hard motherboards and whatnot on a level that most of us would just blow our minds. I mean, it would be the difference of normal to quantum, is like, there's just no, and it's one of those, I really feel like when they get him in the chair, so to speak, and I'm talking Musk, and they start hitting with questions, well, the CIA and the FBI and all of them, they've already got the reputation of they never ask a question they don't already know the answer to with evidence to back it up. And they're just going to see if you're going to lie to them or not. And I'm seeing them getting him in the chair and start hitting him with questions. And it's going to be the little boy squirming in his chair, not knowing, should I say yes or no, or run and hide, or what should I do? Because basically Musk is a spoiled little boy who, just like Donald, was handed anything and everything he wanted growing up because he had parents that had more money than God and didn't know what to do with. And so these people grow up with a mindset that is beyond their poop don't stink, but they grow up with a mindset that whatever they desire is by rights theirs, regardless of who owns it or what it's in reference to. And I can't for the life of me remember the psychological term for that. I should be able to remember it. I studied it in school, but
Musk, when if he's questioned directly about something, he'll pass it off to somebody else. Just like if they, if they've got evidence that Musk did this, if it's got his fingerprint on it, and they ask him questions about it, he'll be like, "Well, I don't really even do that kind of stuff. I don't know how I could be involved in that." And then the same thing with Trump. If they say, "Well, it looks like between you and Mr. Trump, you did something with the election," and Trump would just say, "Wow, really? Did you do that, Elon? I mean, I had no idea." They're just going to try to pass the buck. However, I think by the way things have been going, this is where Trump's digging himself in deeper and deeper, because they'll start to say, this couldn't have happened when you are the one that said A, B, and C. I mean, I can't be real specific about this, but that's the way it's going to work out. You said this, so you must have had some knowledge of why you wanted to do it this way. Especially this thing with Putin. This is going to kill him. He is a traitor. This is going to bring him down. But then, if all these things can come together, all to 1, 2, 3, they the election, the Russians, the lying about every single thing about Zelensky being a dictator, all of these different things accumulate and stack up to where Trump is not going to be able to walk himself out of that. He's not going to be able to talk himself out of that. And the same with Musk, because it's obvious when they get all this information, this intel, it's obvious where it came from. It's those, and Vance is another part of that.
But before we go on to Vance, that's a whole other thing. So let's finish up the thing about Ketamine Kid and his health issues about his drug use.
Okay.
So I start out with the Page of Swords. So this is starting out with either a young doctor or a young lawmaker, kind of calling him on his habits. So I think some other health issue gets him in front of a medical professional, and that medical professional recognizes that he's looking at a junkie and says, dude, you got to change your lifestyle. You're killing yourself. He's probably going to have racing heart rate, or, his blood pressure is going to be crazy, or he's got some other, symptom that just is he's going to have 5 dead giveaways that he's a junkie and that it's killing him. But for him, he's going to march right up to the brink of having like an overdose. And what he gets is the tower at the basis of things. He's going to have a tower moment. So I think health-wise, he's going to have something bad. So probably land him in the hospital. And in this throw, I got to tell you, he got every single card you could get for traveling. Every card you could get for traveling. So his response to all of this is going to be to run away. And P.S., he's already done this before. Something has happened to him in South Africa. He can't go back there. He's got some bad juju back there, whether it's legal or emotional or something, but he can't go back to South Africa. So he's got to find another port in a storm. And I think I hear Russia calling. Okay. Then we got on the top of it, what he's crowned by is himself, the Page of Cups. You're right, Sherry. He is a total little 6-year-old boy. He never grew up. He's not even Peter Pan. He just thinks that he can buy his way out of anything. He has no good morals, I don't think, but he's just not mature on any level. And then he becomes somehow the Knight of Cups, also not super mature, but a little bit better. And this Knight of Cups is going to be somebody who all of a sudden blurts out something surprising. And so, Cleo, that's where I think your thing comes in, that, he's just going to say a million things every which way to Tuesday just to try to back out of things, especially denying that he ever did anything really wrong. But he's also going to deny that he's having a health issue because of his drug use. He's just going to be in denial about this, and this could very well almost kill him.
Because Rose Blue just said the drug use violates his government contract.
Yeah, that's right. That's another thing. But what is his government contract? He's not really I don't think he's getting paid.
No, but a bunch of his companies are.
Yeah, he has those.
He's getting
Those
paid
things.
billions and billions of dollars.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the government contract of being an employee of the government
Like
to
he's
do
got
the
an employee,
the doggy thing.
paycheck. Wait, no. The reason he is the richest man in the world is because of the United States.
Yes, you're right.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right. So he hopes that he can just escape to somewhere else in the world. He gets the Two of Wands there. Nobody thinks that he's going to be able to get out from under this. The whole world sees that he's just so guilty. It's just not even funny. And he hopes, again, here's like the fourth traveling card in this reading, the Chariot. He's just ready to book, get out of town. The final card, Nine of Swords. He's finally going to have to admit it. And this anxiety and his feeling like he just has to, try to sleep and he can't sleep. That's probably the one thing that may save him from actually, killing himself. But it's just not going to be good. So yes, is he going to have a health event? Yes. Is it going to happen in the month of March? Most likely, because all this other stuff is coming down in the month of March. And as he gets more anxious, he does more drugs. And as he does more drugs, he puts his health in jeopardy. So that's what I say about that.
Well, and the thing with him and Trump, if he just, if he gets in trouble for something, or if Trump gets in, they're going to play off each other.
But I don't think they're going to allow them to do that. I don't think they're going to have them in the same courtroom with the same investigator being questioned by the same grand jury. I think they'll be separate. They will be separate. And
but I'm just saying they're going to pass the buck. One will say, "Oh, gee, I didn't know that he was doing that." My goodness.
Well, that may be, but if they're in front of lawyers, a good lawyer is going to say, "No, that doesn't wash. You can't. That isn't." But also, I don't feel that these court things or legal charges or papers being filed, I don't think that's what's going to bring them both down. I think that the pressure of those things is going to give them both health events. But I think what's really going to change the administration, to take the administration out of the White House, I think is our military. I really don't think anybody is going to be sitting before a judge and saying, well, you can't take away the presidency because I'm innocent. I don't think that's the scenario. I think
no.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. Just so, yeah, of course they're going to do this other behavior. This is the behavior they've been doing for years, but I don't think that's what's going to clear out the administration. I think a slow moving but sweeping military event will systematically contain and restrain all the parties involved with this corruption, including those in Congress. That's what I think.
Okay. Now, somebody said, Cleo, Trump has been a Russian asset for years. Musk is not the go-between. Okay. Yeah. I'm talking about what's going on right now during this election and the two to 3 years before that. That's when Musk was the go-between, especially during the Ukraine war, right in the beginning, where Musk said, oh, okay, well, I'll shoot up a satellite. Ukraine can get some internet access that way. And they did it. And then all of a sudden he goes, oh, no, okay, no, never mind. He didn't say this, but I mean, it was Putin that got a hold of him and said, get rid of that. And so he did. So that's what I'm saying, that he's the go-between right there, because Trump does not want to be connected totally to Putin. He wants to act like I just want peace. I just want peace.
Well, he wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize above all, even above Putin.
He does want that. That's crazy. He's just saying, let Russia do what they need to do, and then let's just stop this. No more killing.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
That's what he does. But when it comes to really discussing things, it starts with Musk, because Musk isn't really nobody. He's not a president. He's not an elected official. He's not. He can do whatever he damn well pleases.
Yeah.
Trump can always just say, "Hey, I don't know what he was doing."
Yeah,
I know. I still think that
they're both going to be so busy throwing each other under the bus. It's going to be ridiculous. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That Musk is the Achilles heel to Trump. He's going to sing like a bird because, for one thing, he doesn't understand what he's saying. Just like he didn't understand the Social Security records. I mean, he just does not understand this stuff. So he'll say something to screw Trump, and I wish
Yeah.
I could be a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. So we've covered that. Do we want to do Rubio? Because I think that's a very juicy topic.
Yeah, let's do Rubio.
What is Rubio going to do? I'm not just going to ask, is he going to resign? Because, duh, he's either going to resign or be killed. I think, unalived. You know, I just think the poor guy. Every time you see him, he's got those doll's eyes. Like his eyes are just, even the whites of his eyes are black. Like he looks like those demons on True Blood. You know, it's just. He just when they showed pictures of that meeting in Riyadh, every time they cut to him for the interview, he just repeated the same thing. It's like they used the same clip. I mean, it's that bad. It's that bad. And that poor guy in that meeting with Zelensky, did you see him? His body language on the couch?
If he could have sunk through that couch and disappeared, he would have.
Oh my God. It was hard. Yeah. So what is this? Not just what's going to happen to him, but what is he going to do? What is he going to do in the month of March? Poor little Marco. There goes your career down the toilet. Down the toilet, Marco.
Marco decided to just be totally into Trumpism. You know, he's so excited that he get to be, what is he, Secretary of State? And so, yeah, Marco Rubio. And I mean, every time I see him, I can't help but get the picture out of my mind of Saturday Night Live. Had that guy being Marco Rubio. He just, you know, you're right. Deer in the headlights look.
Yep.
And
all right. So go ahead, Cleo. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. What I got on Rubio is we're starting out with the Six of Cups. So he's I think he's thinking about running home to Daddy to come and clean this up for him, like he's always done, like DJT has always done, like a lot of them have run home to Daddy and let Daddy fix it, you know. Except this is something I don't think his daddy can take care of. Then I drew Judgment. He got the Judgment card. So regardless of what he does, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming down on his head, not just for administrative stuff, but for his life prior to the administrative stuff. There's Judgment coming for him. And then I got the Queen of Pentacles. So he thinks he's going to be able to be covered, you know, that there's some woman in his life that's going to help take away the bad stuff, and it's going to make him feel better. It's the nicest way I can think of to put what I want to say, because I can't say it. They would definitely yank Colleen's show for the day. So
like, because he's backing up Trump, he thinks he's untouchable. Go ahead.
Exactly. And then I got the Page of Cups. So here we're looking at, as more and more information comes to light, because it's the cups, that emotion is going to get stirred up deeper and deeper, and it's going to get scary for him, because as information comes out, he's going to be implicated in it as well. There's going to be some Democrats implicated in some of this crap too, so y'all better, you know, buckle up for that. And then I got the Eight of Wands. When it happens, it's going to happen like that. It's going to be so damn fast, he's not going to know what hit him.
Not even time to change their underwear.
No, not even. I mean, it's going to happen so damn fast that if they get drug out of their house in their underwear, they're going to be lucky. You know, I mean, it's going to happen quick when it happens. They're not going to be playing around. And he ends with the Three of Swords.
Oh,
yeah.
Nobody helps him.
Nobody's there to help him. Daddy can't help him. Money can't help him. Dumpy is not going to help him, because he's going to call him a loser and tell him, you're on your own, kid. Because Dumpy's going to be busy fighting off the same damn crap himself. And what have I got here? Bottom of the deck, I got the Hierophant.
Oh my God. Crazy. You know, Cuba's going to start looking better and better for Marco.
Yeah, I was going to say he might decide to run back
Yeah, he
home.
is going to think about it.
Somebody said here that John Bolton says Marco Rubio should resign before his career takes a serious hit. I saw that thing that John Bolton said, and he's absolutely right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Marco is in just as much trouble as the rest of them. That's why he is just not sure. He's in too deep. And if they go down, he's in big trouble. But he just keeps thinking all the Republicans, because they think if all the Republicans support this nonsense of what Trump's doing, it's not just nonsense. That that they're going to be okay, because just like he did with the 1,500 people that went to jail for the January 6th, yeah, that he can take care of it, that he can magically get them get out of jail card free.
That was the first card that fell that people started to really walk away from Trump, was when he released all of those J6ers.
Oh, what I was going to show you guys is I don't know if this channel is totally devoted to only this, but there is a channel that has many videos on it for MAGA supporters who regret their vote after Trump's actions. And they've got 64,000 subscribers.
Holy crap. Yeah.
So there's a lot of people.
I know I'm on a feed somewhere, because daily I get anywhere from 2 to 5 videos that pop through my news feed of the FAFO folks,
Yep,
of the MAGA folks. I mean,
yes, that's their
just crying into their cornflakes,
All right, so here's my cards on poor little Marco. Okay, the first card that comes up is the Six of Pentacles. He was just doing a favor, and somebody was doing a favor for him. That's all he was doing. And my focus on this was, what are Marco's actions going to be in the month of March? Well, first, he's just going to deny that he's ever done anything wrong. But he has the Queen of Cups crossing him. So somebody is going to be coming out with some information that is probably embarrassing and not very good for Marco. So even if he resigns now, he's still going to be charged with crimes. He's still committed crimes. It's way too late for Marco. Way too late. And at the base of the reading is the Six of Swords. He's already contemplating his exit. He's already trying to figure out what's the quickest boat to Cuba and will they protect me? He's already written letters to the Cuban government and said, I'm an expat. My dad was a Cuban citizen. Please, can you help me? Hide me. In the past, he's got, the Nine of Swords. He's seen the writing on the wall. This is why his eyes are dead. This is why he has Saul's eyes, because he cannot relax. He can't sleep at night. He doesn't know what to do to protect himself and his family, and he knows he's going down. And what crowns him is the Queen of Swords. So, she's going to make sure that everybody, because she was in the Senate with him, she's going to make sure that everybody knows who did what wrong, because she knows. And in his future is the moon. Everything is going to be revealed in time. It may not be revealed all at once, but over the course of time, it will be. So these two eclipses are no bueno for him. They are going to reveal and reveal and reveal, like peeling an onion. All this stuff is going to come out. He's very worried about, what side of the bread is what side of the bread is it buttered? And he does not know who to trust. He is just trying to figure it out, and he just can't. So he's scared. He's really scared. And, most people see that he's just kind of depressed about it because he's not taking any action right now, but he will have to, because what he's looking at, again, the Chariot, he's making a move. He's going to book. He's going to have to resign, but maybe he's going to disappear first and then send a letter of resignation. He's scared. I think he's threatened too. I think he's got threats hanging over his head as well. And his final outcome is the Page of Cups. It's going to be some kind of a wackadoodle announcement, wackadoodle surprise information that comes out. He's going to say, aliens abducted me. This is what made me do it. He's going to have some weird ass excuse.
But the dog ate my homework. I mean, just whatever he can come up with. Yeah.
Whatever he can come up with, because you know what? He already stepped in it and he can't get it off his shoe.
Knee deep.
Well, and Layla G says nobody can actually arrest these people because they work for Trump. Now, that is the mindset of all of these people, that Trump
Yeah.
is their savior. But
Yes.
we're not talking about when Trump gets decertified, then what happens? And all these different things that are going to come up. He's not going to be able to save him. As a matter of fact, there are going to be so many people pointing the finger at somebody else instead of themselves to try to get out of this, because it's going to be, in the end, I mean, this is not going to happen this month or probably next month. But when it does come down, there is so many people that are just going to be scrambling because they
Yeah.
can't believe they've actually got themselves caught up in something like this that could actually put them in prison. I mean,
For a long time.
What I'm looking forward to is the moment in Congress, and I mean both the House and the Senate, the moment in Congress where they realize that Elon and Vance and DJT are no longer in the White House. And you're going to see them come out in the news with things like, well, yeah, I knew all along, they were Russian assets, blah, blah, blah. And probably 48 hours later, they're all going to be in military prison.
Now, have you guys heard this? This is from Raymond, and he says, Marco the Rubio took $1.5 million from a Russian oligarch.
Oh, there's a bunch of them took money from the oligarchs. Yeah.
Of course he did. All of them have. And that's why they're all going to get arrested.
Don't you remember that big group of senators and congressmen, Republican, that went to Russia for the 4th of July to celebrate with Putin?
But I don't think Marco was with that group.
I don't know if he was with that group or not.
He wasn't with that group. That was a bunch of people who are like old as dirt. That was like, Lindsey Graham and I think Mitch McConnell. And a couple people from Texas and
yeah.
But I don't think Marco Rubio was a part of that. But he is now. He's a part of it now because he took all that money from the oligarchs.
Was that back when Trump was president the first time?
Yeah, the first year that he was president, on 4th of July, there was about 7 senators, or maybe some reps.
Lord, what in the world is
I know. Well, the first meeting that he had in the White House when he won the first time was to have the Russian ambassador and the Russian envoy or something to the White House.
He made the American press leave.
I was just going to say that. Yeah,
Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, the writing has been on the wall in bright red lipstick for years. I mean,
it's so obvious. It's like, how can y'all not see it?
And
that's what I don't get.
And people have called me crazy for saying that.
Yeah, me too.
People have called me crazy for a long time for saying that. So, because I said that the first time. I wasn't doing this on this channel, on the first time. So, okay. So, anybody got one last thing that they want to read on?
There's just so many things.
Just pick one.
I'll let you guys pick.
What do you want to read on? Let's see. What do I have? I'll tell you something that I wanted to read on is now we can pick between these two. One is Maxine Waters' statement, and what does that mean? What does her statement mean? Has she been in on some privileged information all along? Or and just for the people who are watching who might not be aware, so Maxine made a statement, and I don't exactly know the circumstances of when and where, but she basically made the statement that Elon has his situation because he bought the election for DJT.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, duh, we all know that. But Maxine Waters is a senator from California. And
a damn sharp one, too.
Yeah, but why is she saying that?
Somebody's coming out and just blatantly saying this, which should be brought out, because just because we all know it, I love it when somebody in the Senate or in the House, some politician, can point this out to us so that everybody gets the whole picture. It's so ridiculous. They're still tiptoeing around, but I don't know. I just think that the information that settles this, that brings Trump down, comes from outside sources. and gives them an in so somebody can go ahead and do something.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know, what does it mean that she said that? Does that mean that there are a small group of trusted, probably mostly Democrats, that had been brought into the inner circle even before the inauguration?
Oh, I'm sure.
So is that what?
Well,
I mean, they tried to get rid of Maxine Waters several years back for insider trading with her stocks, because the whatever company it was that she hired to handle her and her husband's accounts while she was in service, and her husband was a lawyer. I don't know what he did, but he lawyered stuff. And it just so happened that whatever company it was she had hired, this is what I read, was they decided to put a lot of stock, or put a lot of money into a certain stock that they thought looked really promising, and it went like through the roof, ballistically high, and they tried to accuse her of insider trading. But when they went back and looked at the facts to try to prove this, it was discovered that the company she had hired to handle her and her husband's financial assets had made that move and bought into that particular stock pattern like a month before there were any hearings or anything in Congress talking about that company and some other companies that were targeted. So it happened like a month before she had any information on it. She didn't know her company had bought stock. She didn't even know that she had all this stock that was now worth tons of money. I mean, that's what I've read. I mean, there was a long expose, and
for anybody out there that's wondering, somebody wrote to Colleen, actually, my friend the other day told me I was delusional when I said Trump didn't win. Kamala did. If you look on YouTube, there is a bunch of people that are specialists that are in the know on this kind of stuff, that are helping to look into the electronics, the technology,
the forensic specialist, yeah.
and they have actually come up with the numbers. And it's all, not just psychic predictions. These are actual facts. So we're not just saying this out of because that's what the guides told us, which the guides told us that from the get-go, but we're going by the actual information.
You're fine.
That that they indeed did get. They've got the numbers now. I don't know exactly how they're going to bring all this stuff up, but yes, it is a real thing. It is true. And if somebody else, they've been floating this figure around of 3.5 million votes. Didn't quite feel right. But somebody else said 20 million votes are questionable. What happened to 20 million votes? Now, we're just waiting for these kind of facts to keep coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to present this, how they're going to use this, but
I think
it is absolutely true.
It is true. It is true. But as we get closer to this retaking of the government, that information is just going to be icing on the cake. It isn't going to be it isn't going to be the information that really causes us to take back the government, or causes the military to take back.
Right.
But it is true that she won. And if you
without a doubt.
It started right after the election. They started coming out and talking about it, and it was all over on YouTube, on channels that didn't have big, huge, widespread, like Midas Touch never put it on until recently. They started talking. Some of the not the Mycellus brothers and not Popak, but the other people on the Midas Touch network have started to put this out. And what you're finding now is that even some of the legacy media is starting to put out stuff that we heard about months ago. And so as that gains momentum, that will help, again, with the MAGAs who regret voting for Trump. That will help them to believe that, oh, so even though I voted for him, he shouldn't have won anyway. You know, that will help. But the thing that I threw on was, what was the thing that I threw on?
Election Truth Alliance. Somebody says Election Truth Alliance. I think I recall seeing something about that.
Okay.
They're pushing for the audits. They said they're pushing for the audits right now. They are.
Yeah.
You know. So
and they should do that. They should do that. That will give people a lot of heart, a lot of hope. It will help them see that you can get to the truth, that it isn't a lost cause at all. But I'd like to go back to the reading that we're doing about Maxine Waters and what's going to happen as a result of this, and does this indicate that there was a bigger group of people who knew? Because my reading is interesting for her. So did you guys read on that? Did you throw on that or think
I
on
didn't
that?
throw yet. No, I was.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do mine and then
Go ahead and read, and I'll. Yeah.
Okay, so
cool.
Here's the thing with Maxine. You know, she was real quiet for a long time about this. She didn't come out with very much. She said a little thing here or there. I think she was part of those initial. Sherry, do you mind if you mute while you shuffle? Thanks.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, okay, great. So she was a part of those initial group of senators and representatives who went out to protest when Elon first started doing his shutdown things, if you remember. But she was not coming out then and saying anything about a rigged election. She may have made a mention of it or something, and then she was very quiet. So up until recently, she's very quiet. And also, this shows that she feels very safe, very comfortable. This is usually read as a money card, but it also has to do with just security. And I think that she feels very secure in her seat at this point, but she is struggling. She is having to use everything that she can to protect herself, her reputation, her family. She's not in a comfortable position, probably because of that. I'm not going to say an announcement, but she is one that's known for just speaking her mind, right, when she gets on an interview. And in this case, I don't think it was a really good thing for her to do. It's the truth, but I don't think it was a good thing for her to do. And in the past, we have the King of Wands. Now, I'm not quite sure who the King of Wands is. Maybe it's her husband. I don't know. But in the past, she has been, well, maybe it's her, someone who's just impulsive and just says what's on her mind and doesn't hold back. And she knows that she's got that impulsive nature to really just blurt things out. So now she's retreating again. You're not going to hear from her very much in the next few weeks in the month of March, because she's getting pressure again. She's getting pressure again. She's being really, really pressured to take it back, to retract her statement, to apologize, to say she shouldn't have said that couldn't possibly be true. She's really being pressured quite a bit. And there's going to be more and more and more and more pressure on her and probably her family and her husband, because they don't like that she said that, because she has a following. She has a lot of people who listen to her. She's pretty influential. And this pressure and this pressure is coming directly from the White House, directly, if not from Russia and the White House. She's going to have to fight. This is not good. She gets the Two of Swords. She's going to have to make some decisions about this, whether she comes out and says, yeah, I shouldn't have said that or whatever. But it's happening to people. And maybe that's why her voice came out and said that, so that we can see what happens to people who do that. So we can see, just if you didn't know clearly before, you'll know it clearly now, that the people that are in the White House are evil. They're mean. They play dirty, and they don't give a shit about somebody else's human life. They do not give a shit.
Anybody with 34 felonies, convicted felonies. I mean, no, what? We're crazy that this guy is even in there in the first place. Somebody said, Raymond said, I believe the corruption is so deep, vast, and wide that the authorities will bury the truth because it's so brutal. I have said over and over, it is so deep, and the corruption is worldwide. So yes, that's why it's taking so long to fix the problem, but it will be fixed and it will come out. But yeah, I worried about the same thing because I thought, yeah, we know what's going on, but it's buried so deep. It's never going to see the light of day. It will someday see the light of day, but we don't need the whole ball of wax right now. We just need the stuff that it's not just Trump, it's the whole Republican Party, unfortunately, that has just been corrupted. So these are the things that are going to be coming out, and it's starting in March, particularly in another week. I think we'll be even talking about more stuff that's just crazy making, and going into April. And yes, everybody's talking about this clear into August. Personally, from what I get from my guides, things are going to be happening a little bit sooner than that. But then again, just like this Raymond was saying, that it is so deep and buried so deep, and it's going to take a couple of cranes to pull this junk out and really expose it.
Yes, that is the point, that there will be things happening all the way along. It is not like it's going to be one thing and then nothing and then one thing. No. It is going to be a cavalcade of hits, shall we say, as far as things that come to light.
That's one thing to put it, yeah.
Outrageous acts that are exposed. But I do think that after March, I do think that DJT will be severely curtailed from doing the kinds of things that he's been doing. I do think he's going to be, it may take into April for him to really get all the way taken out. I don't know, but that is the beginning of really putting the brakes on him.
Well, and I do think that Trump has a little bit of fear there that if he keeps pushing the envelope a little too hard, that it could be detrimental to him, to his position. I mean, the whole thing but this going back and forth, this is starting to frustrate and piss people off. Because you're trying to get prepared for something. Like right now, you go to the store right now, and all of a sudden the prices went up. This week, they went up 50 cents, $1 on each kind of, stuff that was supposed to be settled down because we're kind of getting through this inflation. But it's starting back up again because of the threats that's being made by Trump in preparation for the tariffs. I mean, it's just, and then he said, well, no, we're going to do this, but we're not going to. We're going to give back these jobs, but the department doesn't exist anymore. We're going to, this is so much BS, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try to get through it all.
Yeah, it is going to be exhausting. But if you think of this as, the little engine that could, we've been going up the mountain.
Yeah.
And I think we're really at the summit of the mountain right now of all the crap that they are pulling. And then as this thing starts to get pulled apart, we will feel ourselves going down the mountain and feel this easing up. So where things will begin to change a little, not a little, but they will begin to change back towards more normal existence. The problem is that damage has been done to our reputation and around the world. It's interesting. For years, astrologers have read on, is the United States always going to be the big, superpower of the world?
Yeah.
A lot of astrologers said, no, they're not going to be. And this is the moment where we cease to be the superpower of the world. We are not. We are no longer the leaders of the free world. And we are no longer the superpower of the world.
And just
Donald Trump gave that up for us.
Just in what, 2 months' time or less?
Yes, but that's the way Hitler did it. He only took about 2 months to take over.
I know. But, we see what Biden had done for us and how he corrected everything and got everything going again. And in just this short period of time, this 45. I mean, it's just. It blows my mind. But like I said, it's not just him. He has to have a whole bunch of people back him up, and he does.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Sherry, did you give us what you have?
I got the cards, but no, I didn't share them yet.
Okay.
I started out with these 7 of Swords. They're stealing as much as they can get their chubby little hands on. That's exactly what they're looking to do. They've already started. I mean, that's part of this Doge crap. is to see how much money they can steal and get put in their pockets. Then I got the Queen of Swords. So normally for me, this would be Kamala or someone else in that leadership position that's there to protect because she's got the sword. But now I'm wondering, because of where we're at and what we're reading on, who might this be on the other side?
On
That
the
is,
Republican side?
yeah,
Well, you know,
yeah.
it might be on the European side.
Or
Is
even that, who's gonna
Ursula
use her
von,
sword?
yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Ursula von der Leyen, she's a Libra, and
To
she's
cut
a very
through.
strong leader of the European Union coalition.
Yeah.
Very strong. She got big ideas. She's beefing
Also
up
got the Queen of Pentacles.
Mm,
Also got the Queen of Pentacles.
money.
So we got two queens back to back. Y'all ever watch two queens fight? I got the broken back to show what can happen when two Amazon mamas decide they're gonna go at each other, right? And I just didn't move fast enough to get the hell out of the way. So yeah, we've got Queen of Swords and Queen of Pentacles, and they are side by side. They're not helping each other because they're looking in the opposite direction from one another. Now, if they had come out the other way, then they would have been looking at each other, and I would think in terms of they're there to help each other out. But no, in the draw, they came out this way. So they're looking in opposite directions. So they've got opposite ways of what they're trying to do. One is going to try to help as much as she can for the other side. And the other one's going to be there to try to stop as much damage as she can and protect as much as she can. That's what I'm getting off of these two queens. And then I got the Nine of Swords. So a lot of, you're muted, Colleen. You're muted.
I got the Queen of Pentacles. Because she's a stickler in what the EU wants to do. But Giorgia Meloni from Rome, she's the Prime Minister of Italy, and she's a Capricorn. And she does have thoughts about how they're going forward, and she does disagree slightly with Ursula. So she would be working with her closely because she has some other ideas. So sorry.
Exactly. No, that's good. See, I didn't have that information, so I wasn't able to draw that conclusion. Because I don't know the European people as well as I probably should. I've started to look into it a little bit to try to get a better feel for it, but there's a lot. And then I got the Nine of Swords. You'd think that we don't have any life. We don't. They're losing, whoever's doing whatever is losing a hell of a lot of sleep over this because they know it's coming. They know it's coming. They just don't know when or by who. And they're not happy campers, I guess would be a nice way to put it. You know, they're looking, because then I got the Four Swords. I've been getting swords out the wazoo tonight. So there's a lot of pent-up energy and a lot of put them up, fighting energy that's coming out. A lot of, we're gonna duke it out. I mean, male or female, I don't think it matters. And some of these female energies that I've been pulling up, they're probably gonna take down the male that fast because these mamas aren't playing. They're not playing at all.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So I know it's been an hour and 38. I'm so sorry, everybody, but I just couldn't resist. I had to throw a few cards on where will we be at in April? What will that feel like for us? And it's good. So something must have happened in March, or these cards wouldn't have come up. We start out with Justice. Hello.
I keep pulling Judgment. So
Justice. Yeah. And what crosses it is the Eight of Swords, but I don't think it's us. I think it's them. I think it's the doggy people. Okay. And then we get the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune will have turned. Fate will have turned. So I think things.
Karma is going to be wearing stilettos when she kicks her ass.
Yeah, and look what's in the past is the Queen of Swords. That's my Kamala card. And what crowns us is the Six of Wands. That's the Victory card. And what's in front of us is Temperance. So it's not going to be we just bash their heads in like melons. You know, we're going to go about this.
We're going to want to do that, but that's not
going to do that. But that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be measured, tempered. You know, not going to kill anybody in this process. No animals will be harmed in the process of taking back the government. And you know, the fears of what we have is that why is it taking so damn long? You know, we got the Strength card here, but if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. And that's what we need for our country. We do need to get stronger. We need to understand how to strengthen our laws and all the branches of government so that this never happens again.
And not just for us, but we gotta get a grip on what it means to the rest of the world.
Yes, that's the next card. Card. What are we looking at? The Hierophant. They're looking at our government because many countries have modeled their governments after our government. So they're looking at what we're going through and taking note. You know, this is the way we're going to gain back trust with the rest of the world, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if we get this going, it will happen. If we don't get this going, it will not happen. And I'm not saying we're going to become the world superpower again, but we will gain their trust. We will be the big brother again. What's this is in the hope position for us as a country, death. We want that transition. We want to see this stop. We want the pain to stop. We want to go back to helping people and being the country that we know we are. But this is very interesting. The final
wasn't it just a couple of draws back that I drew not just the Tower but the Death card both in the same draw?
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing that the final card is the Page of Wands. Very, very interesting. It's only a page. And this is what leads me to believe that all of these big things, I got a bunch of major arcana here. I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana here. And yet the final outcome is a simple Page of Wands. So I do believe that many, many things are going to be happening in the dark. We are not going to see everything that's going on. And when we do hear about it, it may feel like we're watching an episode of Leave It to Beaver. We may be just like, what? That's all that happened? But everything is changing, you know, like because, you know, what the tarot, I really feel like what our role is right now is to get everybody ready for this, to get everybody ready to see that things are going to happen in an unusual way so that you're not scared. You're not thrown. You're not like,
and
oh
it's
my
not
God,
going to be shock and awe. We're not going to see bombs bursting in air, you know.
No. And
that's not what's going to happen.
And we're not going to have armies running through Chicago shooting at people. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have any bombs drop. We're not going to have anything like that happen. We may have some cyber attack things, which we have had before, but we may have some things like that. But really, I think that the military or whoever is going to be doing all this stuff is going to be working mainly in secret to keep things calm. And don't forget, there is still those factions of MAGA, like the Peanut Butter Boys and the Oath Creepers, that, you know, really want to have vengeance and violence and anger. And we do not want that. That's why we got the Temperance card, because we don't want that. We don't want to go there. And so when this Page of Wands announcement comes out, and this could be a series of small announcements, it may feel anticlimactic, but just have faith that it's going to come. It's going to be okay.
Just to show you artist Liz with that. She is very much in tune. She very much, we've talked several times, and she's like, wow. I mean, she's really plugged in.
And this is 6 months. If you start with March, April, May, June, July, August. August is the 6th month. So if
thanks, Liz.
Yep, Liz, you're right on. You're right on.
Exactly.
Yep.
I think it might be sooner.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are going to be sooner. These eclipses are no joke, folks. They
see, because in the beginning I was getting early summer. I was getting, May, June, maybe July.
I think
But-
April is whatever explosions are happening in March, whether we see them or not. I think April is kind of the denouement. It's the evolution of the, whatever's happening
Yeah.
from those explosions. And in May, we'll start to hear things, and we may start to hear things in the end of April. And that's when they'll be gone. They'll be gone.
Well,
I-
you're gonna hear some things that will be a surprising thing, I believe, this month in March.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the end of anything. It's not going to be, taking somebody out of office or anything like that. But it's the steps leading.
It's beginning
towards that.
steps.
Yeah, I just want to keep reminding people of that, so that when these things happen and they're looking around like, well, we thought that it was going to be now. Well, it is. It's just going to take a whole bunch of steps. It's
Yeah.
going to take a whole bunch of different things happening. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I keep seeing a future that is people dancing in the streets,
Yes.
and that's the same
Yes.
thing I've been seeing for a long, long time. Of
Yeah.
charity and happiness, and like, yay, no more tariffs, and we don't have to
Yes.
be worried about being run by a dictator, and
Yes.
it just everybody relaxes. So, I mean, that's coming up, but timing
Yeah.
is a bitch for me anyway. It's
And
very
these details don't matter. Someone had a question in here about Merrick Garland. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The main thing that matters is that we get this authoritarian regime moved out, and we begin to reverse the damage that they've done and repair our
And it's
relationships.
going to
with the
take
world.
a while to
It's
do
going to
that.
take a while, but
People
the
have
details just
Got
don't
to get a grip. It's not going to be somebody's going to wave their magic wand and everything's going to be fixed in
That's
6
right.
months.
I have
It's
been
not going to happen like that. That's what they did to Obama
waiting
with his
for
first
that
midterm,
to happen.
So, people were pissed because he didn't wave his magic wand and fix everything in the first year and a half of his presidency. And because of that, there you go.
Not happening. I tried.
And,
It's just not doing it.
but
right.
All right, you guys.
it's going
it's
to take time.
We got to get going. This has gone way too long. Thank you, everybody, for coming in the chat.
Thanks for hanging.
We got 592 people, and it's almost 2 hours in. Thank you so much for hanging in with us. And
Yes,
we
thank
will
you.
see you over the next few weeks. We'll be coming on and doing them. Just make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you get the notifications. Please subscribe to Sherry's channel and to Cleo's channel. And thank you for playing.
And real quick, no slumber party tomorrow night because I'm going to be at a concert seeing our boy Julian play. So
Wonderful.
that's the one with the Cajun, the Mardi Gras music that I play.
Great.
But we'll catch up the next Saturday.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. I love you all. And
Bye,
we'll see you
y'all.
next time for PoliTarology. Bye.
Okay.